And news just in, PSL broadcast rights have been resolved and soccer is set to return to the SABC. The Minister of Communications, Stella Ndabeni Abrahams, and Minister of Sports and Recreation, Nathi Mthethwa, met with the SABC and Multichoice in Parliament today to try and find a resolution. And for more on this, we're now joined on the line by our sports reporter, Thabiso Sithole. Thabiso, very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. And what's this agreement all about?
Fortunately, we do not have the exact details of exactly what was agreed upon with regards to the rights. The statement that we received earlier this evening, in fact, as I left the SABC, was the fact that a full statement and exactly on the breakdown of what has been agreed upon will be released by all parties. That will be before end of business day tomorrow, that being Friday. What I do know, what I have learned, reliably learned, as we speak, Simply, was the fact that there was a compromise. We've been discussing this with our reporters throughout the evening. I crossed to Craig Murray, who was there at Parliament waiting for this meeting to take place, and we dabbled with the fact that there should be a compromise of sorts by all parties involved. And what I've reliably learned is that the SABC are likely to take about 72 matches as compared to the 144 that had been initially proposed with regards to the agreement, which entailed a 280 million rand per annum, if I'm correct, with the broadcast rights from MultiChoice. What I do understand is that the SABC will be taking half of those matches. So we're looking at, instead of 144, we're looking at around 72 matches. That's simply where I think, and again, I have not confirmed this, but this initially then would mean that the radio rights, for those people who are not watching on television, the vast majority of the people of South Africa who listen to football, in particular on radio, that will then open the doors for the SABC to be able to broadcast the football matches on radio. But as it stands, a statement that is in possession of SABC News reads that there has been an agreement. It is now down to the parties, both MultiChoice and the SABC, to sign on the dotted line, as per se, and by this time tomorrow afternoon, or tomorrow evening anyway, South Africa will know exactly how many matches will be broadcast on SABC's free-to-air channel platforms. But as it stands, there has been a brokered deal, and all parties are entirely happy, if I can put it that way, with what came out of those meetings.
Now, since the details of that particular compromise haven't been released as yet, but then do we know at this point in time whether this agreement will be for this season only?
Well, that's, I think, the big question, isn't it, Imperial? Because a lot of our viewers who, in fact, if you look on SABC News online, our Twitter handle, a lot of the viewers saying, look, we need more than just the crumbs that we've been given. Unfortunately, that's the information we have at our disposal right now, Imperial, is that although there is an agreement that has been broken, the nitty-gritties of that will only come out at that press briefing, or hope to the press briefing, or the announcements by all concerned tomorrow afternoon. But you make a good point there, because the question about the rights, a lot of people think, but why should we go through this every single season? And the SABC, we heard, they came out strongly saying it just is not financially viable for them to spend 280 million rands and get, 47 million out of that per year, or something along those lines throughout 5 years. It just doesn't make sense for them to spend that much money. It's basically throwing money into a black hole. So the question is, over the years, why have the SABC been paid its money? And now they're saying they've made a standpoint, we're not going to fork out a single cent unless it makes financial sense. And I think maybe that's why they broke the deal of not taking the full 144 games. So let me give an example, Simpio. On an average weekend on SABC's platforms, on SABC One, which is our main football channel, we show about 2 to 3 matches a weekend. So that is being on a Saturday and a Sunday. So what does that mean if you buy 144 matches? Does it make sense? Where are you going to put those matches? So I think this time around the SABC sat down and they said, look, we'll take what we can afford, we'll take what we can put on air instead of the wastage of just taking everything else. But as it stands, once again, we can tell our viewers on the SABC News channel and, of course, on our radio platforms and anywhere they're watching and listening, the fact that a decision has been brokered, it's a positive decision, and soon we'll get the nitty-gritty of that. The Premier Soccer League will soon be back on SABC's free-to-air channel. That's our sister channel, SABC Sports and One, as well as our radio platforms.
All right, Thabiso, thank you so much for your update. We'll certainly be hearing from you and your team with regards to the details of that agreement. That is a reporter, Thabiso Sithole.